Hello and welcome to the Bigger Flip Show. My name is Michael Pinter. Where I teach you on this show how to start flipping houses, or if you're already doing it, how to grow your business. So I had a question about the length of time it takes to do a deal in New York, which is significantly longer than most other parts of the country. So there's a few different types of transactions. We'll try and go through all of them. So a standard buy and sell agreement of a homeowner selling their house to somebody new. I tell people if they're going to list, and I take listings, they should count on it being 3 to 4 months. That seems crazy in a lot of states, but that's how it works in New York. So the way it works, I figure, is if we price it right, we'll find a buyer right away within a week or two. It's going to take a week or two to get under contract. That's just a bullshit of the attorneys getting back to each other. So it takes about a month to get into contract typically. Now I've gotten into contract in 2 days, and I've had contract processes that took 6 months. But I'd say typically figure about a month. And that's going to take most buyers, assuming they're getting a mortgage, 2 to 3 months to get a mortgage. Now, I recently had a deal, 161 Jacob Street in Elmont. You can look it up, where I bought it in September and I sold it to a retail buyer in October. That was the fastest deal I've ever done. So can it happen in a month? Sure, but it's unlikely. Just the way it works. Mortgage companies are slow. Everybody's just in a mindset here that things are going to take time. So that's assuming, and that was a vacant house. So obviously, sometimes you can be waiting to buy a property from somebody who lives in the house and doesn't have any place, is trying to find a place to go or has a place to go, but it's not ready yet, and it can take even longer. But I would say a standard retail transaction from the time you list it to the time you close, it's 3 to 4 months. How long does a wholesale deal take? So I've also, that same time I closed the deal, was it in West Babylon on 9th Street, where it was like 3 weeks to get done. Very uncommon. I'd say to most people, usually a standard quick wholesale deal is about 2 months. Now you're asking, what the hell takes so long? It's a good question. But again, if it's taking you a month to get into contract to go back and forth, then you have to take a month to get into contract with the buyer. So a month to get into contract with the seller on your end, and then it could take a month to get into contract with the buyer. It's going to be 2 months, right? Now, again, I've closed deals in 3 weeks. It's hard to get it done in less than 2 weeks because it takes a long time to get title. It can take 2 weeks to get title in New York. It's one of the reasons why things are slow. And in certain municipalities where you need departmentals, which is something we only have in New York. So that means like a tax search, which is separate, housing and building search, street search, all these stupid searches, but they're common in New York. Some places take longer to get them. So town of Babylon at one point was taking 6 weeks to get a housing and building search to see if there are any violations. So again, I would say in your mind, you should understand that a quick wholesale deal in New York is going to take, a little under 2 months. Even though it can be much faster in under certain circumstances. And in that situation, also, if the seller is looking for a place to go or has some place to go, in that case, I gave them post-closing possession, so they still don't have a place to go, but they knew that they could stay. It could take longer. Now, what else? So like so that deal that I did in Elmont, that was a wholesale deal where I bought the house. I did nothing but clean it out and clean it up, clean it out and clean it up. And again, I closed in September, but I had it under contract probably for 2 months before that. I was waiting for them to leave, but then I closed it and bought it, listed it, and found somebody to buy it really quickly. So things are much slower in New York. You have to get used to that. It sucks. It means your cash conversion cycle, which is the time between when you spend money on marketing and when you actually get paid, is very long. I have an idea what mine is, and I don't want to tell you because I think you'll have a heart attack. But it could be long, right? It could be long. And I tell the story a lot. When I switched from buying at auction to direct market selling in 2017, when I did that, I had money coming in from auction deals that I was selling. I had 4 years of full-time real estate experience, 17 years of real estate finance and mortgage experience. I was spending a lot of money every month, and it took me about 9 months to get paid. 9 months to get my first dime from spending all this money on marketing. 9 months. I tell most people, most of my students, when you get into this business and you start marketing, you got to think in terms of 9 to 12 months. That's a long, long time. And believe me, I'd probably get a lot more students and a lot more followers if I bullshit you and told you that you can do this in 2 weeks, like people tell you on the internet. It's very hard to get it done quickly in New York. The process takes longer. It's just the way it is. Hope this was helpful. We're going to get back talking about leads next week. So thank you very, very much for watching. I really appreciate it.